Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:57 a.m. on the 2nd of August 2025. As you can see, I'm out in the sunshine with my beautiful, where are they? My beautiful birdie boys. Say hello to people, little Bo and Kermie. And it's a beautiful day, which is odd because they forecast drizzle rain all day, and it was going to be very cold, and it is indeed very cold. Let's be fair here, but it's sunny and there's a real sparkle all through the Sacred Space garden, and I thought it's a perfect day to have the little boys outside for a change. We were all cooped up inside all day yesterday. It was awful yesterday. So although the wind's a little bit cold, which is a bit of a worry, I'll keep an eye on them and myself, because as you can see I'm still quite ill. But I thought we'll take advantage of the lovely sunshine, which is beating on my chest, and good for that and good for them, and we'll continue reading from Satan's Choice. We may get interrupted because I've ordered some from Uber Eats. I've ordered a few more bits and bobs of groceries. I just don't feel well enough to even get in the car and go down to the supermarket, which isn't far away, but it's just bigger than Ben-Hur, and I'm a bit dizzy and I'm a bit woozy and probably should be in bed, quite frankly. So I thought, no, I'll get the groceries delivered again. I ran out of water filter to filter my water, which I need that for my CPAP machine, and I need it. I'm not happy having to drink unfiltered water again, because I've been on filtered water for a year now. So I've got to be in my bonnet. Probably could have waited a few more days till I was well enough to go down and get it myself, but I thought, no, I'm not going to suffer like an animal. I'll spend the money and I'll get it delivered, and to hell with it. I hate apple, but I had a craving for apple. Probably a good sign. So, beautiful people of planet Earth, here we are again. I had a very bad night, not so much with my lungs, but with reflux. It was so bad I actually thought I might die at one point. This is just untenable. But I managed to get some sleep, and I feel slightly better today. So we'll see. It's always swings and roundabouts while the Mama T recalibrates and gets her body, mind and spirit back into full synergy, and that can be a bit tickety-boo at times too. Half the time with me it's literally mind over matter, and but by the gods, I was ill last night. Very, very, very ill. I thought to myself last night, if I don't survive this, whatever this thing is, I'm okay with that. 60 years on this planet. And I put a prayer out. I said, ultra-dimensionals or extraterrestrials or whoever are visiting this planet en masse across the globe on a daily basis, sightings are being seen of anomalous objects, and all sorts of weird and wonderful and unusual things are occurring. And so I thought, and I don't know if it's an invasion, because I firmly believe that certain ET races have always been here, and we're actually the interlopers brought in about 300,000 years ago. So, we're genetically tweaked. And my hair's doing weird things, hang on a minute. So anyway, that's my belief system. And I thought, well, if they're coming thousands of galaxies away or across time and space, maybe they'll be better doctors and surgeons than I've encountered out in the Brisbane medical fucking system. I have no faith in any of them, quite frankly. So I put a prayer out. I said, if you're out there and you're benevolent and you can hear me and see me and know how to find me, please heal my reflux. It's killing me at the moment. And my friend's daughter just had major surgery for the same condition, and sounds horrific. So of course, I'm hoping to avoid that, people of Earth. I'm hoping to avoid it. But anyway, she'll get better now. Blessed be the Holy One and all manifestations of holiness. And I'm putting my prayers out to ET, hoping they've got far advanced technology and they can just fix me while I'm asleep, am I right? Psychedelic dreamer in her fantasy world. Oh dear goddess. I mean, you have to laugh. But anyway, it could happen, you know. I know Bernie and Betty Hill, I think they had some health conditions that they had a lot of experiments done on them too, unfortunately. But I know there was something about they had a health condition that, was it their case or some other case, where the abductee was actually cured of a serious health condition. So you see, if you know the right people across the multiverse, or if they like you, sometimes they fix what needs fixing. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Babies are very upset. What's going on? There's a turkey here. Is it the turkey or is it a snake? I can't see. What's upsetting you? Oh, I know what's upsetting you. Check this out, guys. Check this out. They're back. They're back. Can you see them? Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Tawny Frogmouth. Hello. You're back at Sacred Space. I didn't even see you. Funny mama tree. You're beautiful birds. No. Well, there you go. They were there the whole time. You only just noticed. Funny boys. Right. So between praying for the benevolent ET to heal my body, mind and spirit, possibly my love life as well, and the sunshine and the happiness and the visitations of the wild tawny frogmouths again, in daytime no less unusual, it's all cooking at Sacred Space. Something's cooking. Don't know what. I ordered a hot chicken too, so I can make some more. I make chicken soup. My friend Jackie Burns put me onto it, from cooked chicken and a tin of cream corn, and it's just a quick soup, and it's easy and it's done and it's nutritious. So that would be my dinner tonight. Right, anyway, where was I? I can't remember. We got distracted by the excitement over the tawnies. 2 tawnies. I think they're a mating pair. Oh, it's also delightful. You see, for someone who's dying and feels like hell, the gods still have something wonderful, magical, and natural and beautiful to show me each day. So it's not so bad. Also, this dying of the mamatees has been going on for 60 years. It's a long, long dying. So I did feel like shit last night though, by the gods. I actually didn't think I was going to make it. Anyway, here we are again. Another day in paradise. And you're going to read, pardon me, Chapter 3, Growing Pains. I thought he was dead. He just lay there. You could see the whites of his eyes. Lorne Campbell. Campbell could hear one of the Hamiltonians named Scotty asking, "Do you know any martial arts guys? Any karate guys?" Campbell had heard that Gendon ran a fight club long before that term became a part of popular culture. The fights were held in the makeshift boxing ring in the basement of Gendon's red brick bungalow at 480 Browning Avenue, in an enclave of non-rental brick homes that was definitely a cut above anywhere Campbell had ever resided. Oh, bless. Gendon's house was alternately known as the Satan's Choice Clubhouse and the Oshawa Boxing Club. I said to Bernie, "Them 3 guys just bet up John. Can I come with you? I'd like to fight one of those guys." It was the first time they had ever spoken, and Gendon said yes. Within a few minutes, Campbell was in the back of Neil's car, heading to Gendon's home. Neil took a quick liking to Campbell and said with a wink, "Even if you lose, you don't lose." Willerton remembered the Hamilton visitors looking queasy when they walked down into Gendon's basement, where they saw a splasher, a girl eager to provide sex to club members. Here in Australia, those types are called onions. There's layers to that, isn't there? It's not pleasant. Not pleasant how women are perceived in the bikie subculture, unless you happen to be high enough status that you're treated like a queen. Baby girls and baby boys. Anyway, mama tea. A boxing ring, a heavy punching bag, a few dumbbells, and a motorcycle repair area. Oh, that doesn't quite make sense. The splasher must have been in all of that, surrounded by all that gear is what they meant. Sorry, I'm fading in and out, the matrix, because I'm really not well. So if I disappear and do my little, soirees into the other dimensions, don't worry, I'll come back to you forthwith. You're used to that by now if you've been on this channel long enough, or if you've known me personally for long enough. Right, here we go. The first match of the night was boxing with 3-minute rounds, and it featured Gendon and the Hamiltonian named Scotty. Halfway through the second round, Gendon dropped his gloves and let Scotty hit him as hard and as often as he wanted. Gendon just grinned back as if he was immensely enjoying his up-close view of the oncoming fists. In the third round, Gendon got down to business and starched Scotty with a sharp, short hook. He was just smiling at him, and then he knocked him out. I was impressed. He was exactly the way I was brought up. He confronted everything. He was a far better fighter than I ever was. Reg Hawk was also keen to fight. Despite the fact that he had 2 artificial legs donated by the local Kiwanis club, Hawk had powerful forearms, the result of walking on double canes his entire life. The grocery store bookkeeper was keenly sensitive about the fact that he had never had legs, lest people write him off as a born loser. Isn't that dreadful? You've got a disability and you've got to worry about people thinking you're a loser. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt too. God, I hate humans. That's why I hang out with the birdies and the fairies at Sacred Space. I was about to say we haven't had any fairy encounters yet, but then we did, didn't we? Whoever that entity was that got me to make Charlie's beak. So, it's a beautiful day. I should be making a nice little milk and honey offering to them, or do something nice. I haven't given them an offering in a while. Ah well, my stories on YouTube are kind of a form of an offering in a way, taking my time and my energy and my breath and my essence reverberating out to the multiverse. Well, anyway, they just muttered, "It's not good enough," meaning they want their treats. I get it. After I've done this story, okay, I won't forget. I think that might be the Uber person. Is it? Don't know. Anyway. Let me just catch my breath for a moment. He kind of let people think it was a motorcycle accident, Willerton said. That kind of made him look tougher. I guess people would think, what a huge man he would have been before the accident. But he was born a little guy with no legs. Hawk had devised his own form of self-defense based on cane swinging, Willerton recalled, and his unique fighting skills would do a ninja warrior proud. He was brutal. He knew how to use those canes. Perhaps word had already travelled to Hamilton about Hawk's prowess with his canes, as one of the visitors immediately rushed him. There was no room to swing them, and Hawk's artificial legs splayed as the 2 men hit the floor. Unfortunately for the Hamiltonian, Hawk's backup plan was just as formidable as his caning powers. He grabbed the guy and it was all over, Willerton replies. He had big arms. He just grabbed him and started squeezing. Well, there you go. Campbell was up next with a bout against a Hamiltonian called Billy. Oh, sorry, I'm having a bit of a dizzy spell. We'll get through this, we will. Marlene tea, sunshine, tawny frogmouths, Indian ringneck, cheeky little cockatiel baby boy, mama tea attitude, and a YouTube audience. Together we're going to get through this. Right. It was a modified street fight. Kicking was allowed, but not when the opponent was down on the floor. Campbell's father wouldn't have approved, as he opened with a hard boot to Billy's groin. He had practiced the move often, and it worked as planned that evening, tenderising Billy considerably for Campbell's next shot. He threw a right. I ducked once and came across with a left. He went down. Scotty. Oh, did I know Scotty at the clubhouse? I did. Yes. There was a brief frottering. Nothing fully consummated or indecent, but a brief flirtation. Oh, he was a nice fellow. A nice Scotty. They exist. Anyway, sweetness and light, my darlings. Sweetness and light. I kind of still, I have that memory of that particular gentleman. He was young too. Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about him in years. Oh, well, there you go. Spank me ass and call me Judy. Amazing what bubbles to the surface when you read stories about bikers. Scotty, the biker Gindon had dispatched in the first bout, was conscious and feisty again. Scotty thought I was going to kick him, Billy, and I wasn't. He grabbed me from behind. That was just the permission Gindon needed to get back into the fray. He grabbed Billy, spun him around, and landed another crisp, hard hook. It was the defining shot of a night of semi-organised violence. I thought he was dead. His head hit the concrete when he went down, and he was out before he hit the floor. He just lay there. You could see the whites of his eyes. Billy wisely declined a rematch with Campbell. He was finished. What you doing, little boy? Are you falling in love with the mama tea? He's not scared of me anymore. You're not scared of me anymore. No. Kermie still is though. I don't know why. Right. The next day, once the bloodied Hamiltonians were gone from the clubhouse. Yes, you're so sweet. Can I have a kiss? Yeah, kisses. Excuse me. now you're being nasty again. He's a weird little bird. He's a cantankerous cockatiel. Right, sorry, we'll start again. The next day, once the bloodied Hamiltonians were gone from the clubhouse, Gendon nominated Campbell to become a striker or probationary member of the Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club. I'm trying to think what they're called here. Prospects. And then they become patched. Then they're fully fledged member of the club. Anyway, later that year, Campbell became the youngest ever full member. I didn't nominate many guys. He had parts. Gendon made this comment during an interview in a room full of women. Asked what parts meant, Gendon whispered, "It's not polite to use balls in front of ladies. The slang word would be parts." Right away you thought this guy would be a good candidate for the club, Willerton agreed. 18 years after that, Campbell would run across the man he had beaten in the fight. Billy was then an inmate barber at Collins Bay Penitentiary and cut Campbell's hair and shaved him with a straight razor. He either didn't recall Campbell or didn't bear any hard feelings as he applied the sharp blade to Campbell's cheeks. Whatever the case, Campbell started shaving himself in prison after that. Back in 1966, in his new status as a fully fledged Satan's Choice member, Campbell rode a Triumph Bonneville he bought from another member. For their initiations, some new members had outhouse buckets emptied on them at a club property near Coboconk in cottage country, while others held them down. Guys would fight back. They'd run and fight and everything, Willerton says. Campbell says that members often joined in the dirtying of their colours. Everyone was trying to get their crests nice and dirty, have everyone at a party pour beer on it, step on it, urinate on it. One guy, Pigpen, puked on it. Okay, we're not dealing with, high calibre, high class, well-educated, couth types here, but you get that. However, I once went to Victoria University of Wellington for about 18 months, which represented the top 1%, Brains Trust of New Zealand society. And their idea of orientation, of having fun, was chundathons. A chundathon is where you drink so much beer by the bucketful that you vomit copiously into a bucket. A chundathon. Chundering. And they're technically the elite Brains Trust of New Zealand. I learnt a lot from that. Very few people have couth. Doesn't matter what part of society, the echelon you come from. The top to the bottom. If you're gross, you're fucking gross. Just saying. That's why nothing impresses me. Nothing. Campbell's initiation was relatively tame compared with what was inflicted upon other members. It wasn't that fellow bikers were in a polite mood. The day Campbell joined their ranks, they just didn't want him to punch them out. The day he became a full member, Campbell bought beer for a party while others dirtied his club crest. I got food and mustard thrown on my colours. Mine was dirty 5 minutes after I became a member. I don't really get the point of that somehow. It just seems so childish and inane. But that's just me. Campbell took to wearing his choice patch on the back of a brown buckskin jacket he bought at Berg's Menswear beneath his old family apartment. It cost $84 and had 18-inch fringes. Oh, that sounds nice. Girls riding on the back of his bike would pull off handfuls of fringes as souvenirs. Bitches, I'd be livid if they did that to me. They'd be flung off the back of the bike faster than you could say. If you can see this, the bitch has fallen off. Don't mess with me and my fringes or any items of my possession. Don't touch me or my stuff. People are there. It's funny, you know. It's very odd. Little segue here. I used to go to a thing called ecstatic dance, which is a very healing, wonderful modality where you just dance tribally and maniacally as you like, but there's no drugs, no alcohol. You're not even allowed to wear perfume. You just got to be completely clean and clear. You've got to respect each other's boundaries. It's all binaural rhythms, you know, building your energy up and then bringing you down and then building you till you reach catharsis, putting you into a kind of a trance state. It's actually quite wonderful. The leadership that ran that dance space turned fucking rancid. I still don't know what it is they perceived I'm supposed to have done. All I can think of is because I was one of the older people in the group, and I don't know, maybe because I'm single and I never hooked up with anyone. I mean, who did I forget to fuck? People of Earth, just ask me, you know, if is that what I did wrong? I don't know. But anyway, it was just really upsetting. And they were very rude to me at the end, very condescending, very nasty. So I never went back. But, however, having said that, I was dancing there with that group of people. I've still got friends in that group, by the way, on my Facebook. So, you know, so they obviously thought I was okay. But anyway, it got very weird and a bit confronting after a while. I'd been going there for 2 years. I would turn up, you know, with my bag with its fringes and, you know, a water bottle and winter a cardigan or a jacket, or, you know, might be wearing my top hat or what have you. And I'd put my stuff, you know, neatly put down. And people would file in, you know, for the dance. And they're often people I didn't know, you know, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's how you're supposed to meet people if you're not going out to new spaces and socialising. That wasn't the problem. But what started happening, and this went on for months, it was very odd and very spiritual, was I'd have my bag and my gear down. And now a lot of the people that come to ecstatic dance are like hippy-dippy, alternative, bohemian types, or new agers. And with their own brand of spirituality, which, you know, reasonably in alignment with, because I have my own spirituality, and, you know, I'm not opposed to any of that. But some of the people that were turning had no fucking boundaries, and they would turn up, and they wouldn't even know who the stuff actually belonged to. It was almost beneath consciousness. It was odd. And they would make a beeline for my stuff. Now, bear in mind, there would be other people's bags and coats and, you know, what water bottles and whatever scattered around the room, whatever little spot people had claimed for the evening's dance. And each time 2 or 3 people would make a beeline for my stuff, and they'd either sit right on top of it or they'd put their own stuff right on top next to mine. And I'd just be dancing, looking at it, observing it, going, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Like, why did they choose my stuff to, you know, energetically try and osmose with? It was odd. So anyway, this went on for several months. It's not the reason why I fell out with them, I don't think. It was just another odd manifestation. Anyway, and I just thought, oh, that's interesting. So I thought, okay, next time I go to ecstatic dance, I'll try hiding my stuff, tucking it further away out of reach. And which I did do the following dance that I attended. I used to go there on average fortnightly or monthly, and, you know. Anyway, so the next dance comes along, and it was in the same venue. So I tucked my gear away, my bag and my bottle, and this young hippie chick, I didn't know her, arrived. Goes straight over to where my stuff was that was actually hidden away, slightly hidden away, pushed further back under the seats. She just looks over to me where I'm standing dancing and gives me this beatific smile. It was almost as if she knew that it was my gear. I'm like, so I'm watching this, so I smile back politely thinking, what the fuck? I wonder if they were told to do that. Maybe it was some kind of form to try and intimidate me, to drive me away, because they drove me away in the end with their nastiness. It was all very subtle and passive aggressive and invidious, you know. Anyway, so I go over during the dance because it was summertime, it's scathing hot in that venue, and they didn't have any air conditioning, they only had fans. That's why I always have my fan, I always dance with my fan. The fan's part of my performance art now, and it's because I need it, because you go to venues and there's either no aircon, and now I've just incorporated it into part of my dancing regalia. So anyway, but I was really thirsty. So I go over, and that young chick, hippie-dippy chick, she was a beautiful young girl, probably late 20s, mid to late 20s. She's still standing next to all my gear, but I don't know if she was fully aware that she was next to it. So I'm walking over to my gear, but she thinks I'm walking over to her. So of course she gives me this beatific smile, and I smile again, and then she hugs me, and I hug her back, because, you know, no harm, no foul. And then I reached down to get my water bottle, which I had to reach down and under the seating. And then she looks, and then she kind of looked in amazement. She then realised that I'd actually come to get my stuff, not to see her. But anyway, I just smiled and nodded politely, slugged my drink, put the bottle back down, went back to dance. And everyone in that circle, they were all looking at me like, oh, I haven't done anything wrong. I went to have a fucking drink out of my own water bottle, out of my own stuff that I've tucked under the chair to keep my stuff away from people being crowding, touching and putting their stuff on it and getting as close to me as they possibly could, almost fucking merge with me, which creeps me out, you know. It does on that level creep me out. And anyway, and I just stood there dancing like, this keeps fucking happening. I wonder why. And then, you know, much later when I went to Five Rhythms, which is another similar dance space with similar wild shamanic dancing, you know, again, no drugs and alcohol and very ritualistic and lovely, you know. I still go to, well, I would still be going to Five Rhythms, but I haven't gone for a long time. But anyway, I still get their, you know, reminders of when the dances are on and everything. And, you know, the lady that runs that's, you know, very lovely. No one's been nasty to me there. Yet. Just preface that with a yet. But I noticed when I went dancing there too. I think when was that the last time I went dancing there? Probably about a year ago or so. Same dynamic happened. Had my bag down, some young man arrived, I'm on the floor dancing, goes straight over, dumps his bag right on top of my bag, gets his water out, starts fiddling in his bag. I'm thinking he's going into my bag because it was so close, you couldn't tell, you know, the perspective where I'm standing. So I'm dancing but watching him like a hawk, thinking he might be trying to steal something. And I'm getting more and more anxious and het up because I didn't want to make it obvious that I don't trust him, but I don't know him from Adam. And I look around and I'm like, no one else has got their stuff being impinged on, just little old me. So it's a second incidence of that happening in a different, totally different dance space, different, you know, different, similar scene, but they're not connected to the other group so much. Then the same fucking thing happened, you know, over recent months at the Brooklyn Standard, where I always have put my spot near the table where I sit. And in that case, that was a domination tactic because it's some piece that's after one of the guys in the band and very jealous of me. I don't know. Why would you be jealous of me? I'm not sleeping with any of them. I'm not doing anything, you know, wrong. But anyway, she started chucking her stuff right on top of me and turning and snaring at me. I thought, bitch, you're going to go. You're going to go one of these days. But I just let it go because it's another repeat pattern of what happened at both Ecstatic and Five Rhythms. People are so drawn to my gear. One time at the Brooklyn, this was about a year ago, some young Latino girl, very pretty, was dancing beside me, looking at me, seething with hatred and envy. I don't even know you, lady. You mean nothing to me. You're about as important to me as yesterday's dried, shriveled up, whited out dog turd. This is how I look at people like that who behave so evilly for no reason. They don't even know me. I'm just there dancing my dance, supporting the bands as I have always done for 15 years now. Wow. She's beside me and giving me evils and looking up to the guy in the band who, you know, is looking back because he used to use me as a bit of a foil for protection on the floor, actually, quite frankly. But well, she's not a sexual threat to him because she had a young man with his arm all over her ass and, you know, taking ownership of her. And so she had a boyfriend or a partner. Like, what's all this fucking hostility about, actually? So I'm just ignoring it, doing my thing, dancing. which is my prima facie reason for going out, is to dance till I'm exhausted and go home. I'm not interested in the viciousness and the envy and the spite and the petty atrocities playing out in people's mother hydra babied minds. So anyway, this female, very pretty she is, but oh, she's a piece of work. She takes a video of my top hat and my beautiful, bag with the fringes and my bikie jacket. She didn't take a video of my face. She didn't film me, but she made a point of filming all my stuff, which was the equivalent of saying, I own you, and I didn't put her stuff next to me, but just focused on that, and then panned over to the bass guitarist to say, what's going on here? Well, there was nothing going on there. That man and I had nothing going on, But anyway, so she posts it up on their band page, and of course it comes up on Facebook and Instagram. And I can see this video of my bag and my top hat and my bikie jacket, but I'm carefully kept out of the frame. So it was this mad Latino cow trying to say here. It was really odd. And I thought, well, I don't care, because she's had a lovely evening. She's taken a video of the band performing, which is fine, it's what people do. And I've had a lovely evening, and no harm, no foul, am I right? Also, I don't know it from Adam. And so I don't know what bugs crawled up her ass that she decided to film my gear and be all weird. So didn't bother me, just thought it was odd. So how did I handle it? I thought, oh well, you can kill more bees with honey than you can with vinegar, people of Earth. So I just wrote a little comment with a smiley face. Thanks for a wonderful night, guys. We had a wonderful time, which is true, and also an acknowledgement and harmless enough. Gently sits her back on her ass. Didn't we all have a lovely time, side by side? Her obsessing over my bag and my hat and my coat. Now queerer than folk. You can't account for lunatics, people. It makes no sense, but it's not meant to. You don't even bother trying. So anyway, I noticed very quickly, I don't know who decided to pull it or why they pulled it, because I wasn't being nasty. I was just acknowledging we had a lovely time. They pulled that video. It went down faster than grease lightning. Down it went. And I was like, oh, thank you for that confirmation. That told me immediately that person, that young woman's, filming my gear and trying to act all intimidating, that I wasn't paranoid and I wasn't imagining it, and that my beautiful friends in the band thought it was inappropriate too, and that's why they pulled it down. Interesting, isn't it? Well, anyway, that was a long time ago now, and things have changed now with that particular band. I no longer support them, not because of the leader of the band, who's a wonderful man, and I promised I would support his band wherever he went, actually. Tried to keep to that promise too, until the bass guitarist turned savage at the Koala Tavern. But anyway, nah. People are going to do what they do and be who they are, and I'm just glad that true colours were revealed, and I don't have to deal with that ugliness anymore. But yeah, that particular instance, you know, they did have my back. She turned up a couple more times after that. It was like she was obsessed with me. Single white female, they call that, don't they? She turned up a couple times, and each time she turned up with her boyfriend or husband or partner. And as I say, kill more bees with honey. Each time I just keep to myself, but I just smile politely to her young man and nod politely and smile. And the last few times, he started warming up to me. I wasn't flirting. I'm an old lady, for the love of all the gods. But the last few times she turned up with him, he was like looking all happy and excited that I was there, and, you know, nodding and making particular effort to show himself wanting to be, you know, warm and engaging. And she'd be like all pissed off, so they stopped coming after that. She didn't achieve her aim, whatever she thought her aim was, try and drive me out of enjoying my weekly dance. So you see, human nature. Nothing says failure like when your own boyfriend thinks the old chick dancing on the spot is cool. You have to laugh. But as I said, you know, I wasn't flirting or engaging, just doing my thing. But yeah, that last piece that was trying to dominate and compete with me. Haven't seen her for a while either. Wow. You can't compete with a mama T. She's not your sexual competition. I'm an asexual celibate. I've been living like this for 10 fucking years. It's like, what are you all threatened for anyway? If I wanted your man, bing, bam, boom, baby, but I'm not bloody interested in having affairs with men who are married or in relationships. How is that going to behoove me down the track and give me a nice life and make me feel loved and protected and cared for and cherished and respected? You know, taking the slops from another woman's table? I don't think so. So all these women that were so bloody threatened with me, well, they've got egg on their face now, haven't they? And it's not even about sex though, is it? It's just about domination. Just power. And I'm a very powerful woman. And I'm a very powerful woman primarily because I'm always in a state of trying not to die. The gods have my back and I give out zero fucks. My Uber person should be here soon. They just told me they've swapped the product over. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, getting mad, getting triggered about those bikie chicks ripping handfuls off his fringes. Within 4 months there were just a few of them left hanging from the jacket, so he cut off the sleeves to make it into a vest. You know, that's just so nasty because it sounds like it was a lovely, lovely jacket. It seemed like no time before the choice had swelled to 13 chapters and some 500 members, easily making it Canada's biggest, baddest outlaw motorcycle club. They chose Canada's colours, red and white, as their own, and Gendon nourished the dream of expanding from coast to coast. Membership was fluid, with a high turnover in the ranks. Oh. Right. The mullein tea's kicking me up the arse, but it's all good. In a year or two, you'd lose at least 100 members, Gendon recalls. They'd come and go so fast. A rumour circulated that prospective members had to murder someone to get into the club. Unlikely. Long-time member Bill, Mr. Bill, Lavoie, joked that the body count would fill a cemetery the size of the city of Coburg if this were true. Campbell and Gendon were particularly proud that they were from the mother or founding chapter of the club, and that they rode together in formation, two abreast. The Oshawa chapter always stood proud, Gendon says. We'd fight anybody and ride to the fight. Adds Campbell, there wasn't machine guns or knives back then, but there were pretty serious fights. Gendon wanted plenty of fresh blood in his club. Are you out of the sun again, my boy? You are. Hang on a sec, we'll just finish this paragraph. But he didn't want druggies who reminded him of the annoying rubbies from his father's old bootlegging operation. I didn't allow drugs in the club, believe it or not. My kind of man. Pain-killing Percocets and green speed pills were particularly common back then, and both drugs produced addicts. I didn't want guys like that. He threatened anyone caught with drugs with a baseball bat beating, but that wasn't really necessary. I had these, Gendon says, holding up his fists. The bat was merely a backup system. Despite the warning, Campbell and Willerton once tried smoking a nickel bag of particularly low-grade marijuana while riding in Willerton's white 1957 Chevy convertible, which had Barbarian painted on its side. For all the hype about marijuana, they were decidedly underwhelmed as they puffed on a joint. Do you notice anything different? Campbell asked. The post seemed becoming slower, Willerton said, motioning towards the oncoming street lights. Yeah, I see that, Campbell replied. Maybe I'm just driving slower, Willerton observed. They mulled over that possibility and soon decided that non-premium pot wasn't worth the effort. Campbell and Willerton were among the 100 or so choice at a field day in Heidelberg near Kitchener in the summer of 1966. There were plenty of laughs when a salesman in a suit who had been peddling condoms bolted after bikers absconded with his products, blew them up like balloons, and launched them into the air. There were more laughs at the expense of Alex Trebek, future host of the television game show Jeopardy! Trebek, then a television reporter covering the event, went red-faced when a slasher approached him and simulated oral sex on his CBC microphone. Oh, splasher, what we call here onion. Weren't you the splasher we were with last night? Willerton asked her when she was done with Trebek's microphone. Yeah, I didn't mind, but one of them stole my panties, she replied matter-of-factly. As the weekend wound down, a young biker who wasn't with any club tried to impress other riders by doing an extended wheel stand. He wiped out, dying on the pavement. On their way home, Willerton stole chocolate bars and chips from a gas station, more for the fun than the food. Not to be outdone, Campbell lifted a car tyre with a display sign on it. They knew there wasn't much point in stealing only one car tyre, just as there wasn't much hope for a successful getaway when they were double riding on a motorcycle with Campbell holding the tyre and sign. Later that day, Campbell and Willerton occupied neighbouring jail cells, and Willerton drop in temperature. And Willerton was able to slip Campbell some chocolate bars and chips. The charges were eventually settled with a $50 fine for possession of stolen goods. Just going to move my boys because they need to be in the sun. My delivery person's arriving too. I'm just gonna, how are we gonna do this? You get a close-up of my red breast, robin red breast. There we go. All right, there. Good boy. What about you? Alright, that's just mad, isn't it? Mama's going to have to get some movable tables on wheels. I know, it's killing me. It's all killing me, guys. Just going to catch my breath. Come with me. Come with me, people of YouTube. We'll go and see if that Uber person's been and gone yet. Car's just pulling up now, and I'm usually right on it. Where's he going? Don't know if that's for me or not. I'd say it is. I'd say it is. Oh, my heart's pounding. Oh. No, that's not, that won't be them, I don't think. Some neighbours have got visitors. Well, we'll just go back. They'll probably see me or hear me in the garden when they arrive, so they'll work it out. Either way, I don't care. They can just drop it at the door. I'm too old to care, people of Earth. I really don't care. So what are you going to do? They were so good the other day, they just dropped it at the door. I didn't even get out of bed that day, I was that ill. So I'm doing well, moving fucking birdies around the garden, and I'm struggling, but it's an improvement, people of Earth. Right, here we go. Yes, my handsome boy. It's a bit wonky, isn't it? You're sitting on a weird angle now. I know, well look, it'll just have to do. I just want you in the sunshine for a bit longer. Because, you know, got to enjoy the sunshine while it's happening, people of Earth. Right. We'll continue with the story. Back at the GM plant after weekend escapades like these, Willerton was treated like a rock star as he showed up for the assembly line with steel-tipped cowboy boots and plenty of stories. Guys would always come around. They'd say, "What did you do? Where did you go?" "That guy must be in a band," said one worker who didn't know about Willerton's choice membership. "Oh, he's in a band all right," another worker replied. Willerton could barely contain himself one evening when he was home and the television news came on with a story of a fresh biker bust. "Mom, we're going to be on TV." She saw film footage of her son being escorted out of a paddy wagon. She was not impressed, Willerton recalls. Campbell had Eleanor tattooed on his upper right arm for his girlfriend when he was 17, along with Japanese characters on his left leg that meant the gentle art of karate. His father wouldn't have approved, but he was now practicing karate daily. Getting this ink work was a far more pleasant experience than some of his earlier ventures to tattoo parlours. At 15, he'd have lawn inked onto his arm at Don Spicer Tattoos at the corner of Simcoe and Bond Streets in Oshawa. "I thought I was going to pass out." His queasiness about the needle was offset to a point by the sight of the pantyless artist inking his skin. She had a mini skirt pulled up. I was thinking, should I go for it? I didn't. I wish I would have went for it. I bet you're bloody grateful you didn't, boy chick. I would be messing with a Nicholas tattoo artist without her consent, with a tattoo gun in her hand. Could have had more than lawn tattooed on you, little boy. Anyway, kind of have to laugh. You a happy birdie, Bo? Are you a happy birdie? He's so happy being out in the sun. He's just sitting there looking all fluffed up, looking at me like this. How you going, Kermie? Are you alright there? Are you doing fine? Are you doing fine, my little handsome boy? Good boys. Yes. Right, now, where were we? At 16, he added a cross for his sister Roberta, who had died at 6 months, and Pegasus, the winged mythological horse. The tattoos at age 17, including Eleanor, were done in the basement of a building next to the Warwick Hotel in downtown Toronto, on Jarvis Street near Maple Leaf Gardens, legendary home of the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey team. Literary types knew the Warwick as the one-time home of novelist Hugh Garner, while sleaze aficionados were familiar with it as the base of operations for a no-cover, no minimum strip club and an assortment of weary prostitutes. The tattoo artist who worked next to the Warwick was known as the Chinaman, and he was one of a small and select group of local skin art professionals that also included Sailor Joe, the most tattooed man in the world, and the Beachcomber. The Chinaman was a fine artist, but he was no stickler for sanitation. Ooh. He had a fish tank, which was so dirty you couldn't see the fish. I thought, and you're getting tattoos here, there? When Eleanor became pregnant, Campbell moved in with her and her father. The latter was a factory maintenance man, and it was a solid Oshawa house with 2 upstairs bedrooms. He was also a Second World War veteran and a divorcee who smoked heavily and was prone to bouts of binge drinking. More than anything else, he was a protective father. I don't think he liked the idea that Eleanor was pregnant, but he loved our daughter Janice to death after her birth. What can you do? You've got to make the best of it. I mean, I almost wish my girls had gotten pregnant when they were young. Now I was at them, to be really careful and wait till you're older and you've done your degrees and you're all married and respectful. Well, fuck that. Now I've missed out on having grandchildren. It's too late now. Oh well. Some things come down to fate. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it though. Riding season officially began each year with the Victoria Day weekend in May. That's when all club members were expected to have their bikes on the road for a major party, generally held at Wasaga Beach on Georgian Bay, north of Toronto. Eleanor was expecting the baby to arrive that weekend, in 1967. Wow, that baby's 2 years younger than me. They're 58 now. By the gods. Campbell was 18 years old, a year older than Eleanor. So really they were just teenage parents. Bless. Campbell drove her to the hospital when she went into labour. Then he collected his mother and drove her to the hospital too. Immediately after Janice's birth, he rejoined his biker buddies for 2 days of hard partying, something he would later regret. That was a real prick thing to do. You think? But anyway, no worse of a prick thing to do than having your husband while you're in hard labour tell you that you can't decide who's screaming louder, me or the quote unquote Maori bitch down the hall, sorry. I was so disgusted, not just at him referring to the labouring mother down the hall as a bitch, but the racial slur as well, and comparing our screams and mocking and deriding us. Well, we're ushering forth new life into the world to our respective men, not respectful respective men. I should have taken Crystal when I got discharged from that hospital, and I should have walked out then and there. That's when I realised what a pig well, no, actually I knew I was married to a pig before that, earlier on in pregnancy, when I had such severe morning sickness that I was vomiting copiously all down our hall, going to the bathroom. I couldn't make it to the bathroom in time. It was just pouring out of me. And he said, "That's just filthy." He said, "Get down and clean your vomit up." And I'm like, pregnant with his child, and he's again dehumanising for being sick, which you can't help. And of course I was going to clean it up anyway, because it's like vomit and it stinks. But he was so fucking nasty. And I'm down, big belly full of arms and legs, scrubbing the floor, and he's just lying there and mocking me. I used to look at him and I think, how I don't just slice your head off while you're in our bed, I don't know how I didn't do it. Because I'm a good person, believe it or not, I'm a good person. But he was vile he was to me. What was the other thing when I was pregnant? Oh, no, that was after I had Jasmine. I gave birth to our second child, and it was a difficult birth as well. She was only about a month or so old, and she didn't sleep. That child never slept. Never. It didn't sleep for years. I think it was nearly two and a half before it slept through the night, had a reasonably normal night. And to be fair, she had a lot of colic, so she was a sickly baby. So it wasn't actually technically her fault either. Anyway, that sadist that I was married to brings his brother-in-law to my house to scream and attack me in our own marital home with my 2 little babies, my firstborn in her little nursery and my secondborn, only a month old, in her little nursery, screaming at me because they'd stolen all my mother-in-law's gold and diamond jewellery and valuable jewellery. And all I said was, "Isn't it a bit fucking crass? You couldn't even wait till the old lady had died. You're already picking her flesh." So my Dutch Jewish brother-in-law Jacques Cohen is his name. I'm going to name him because he's a fucking pig and I hate him to this day. Comes into my home, my marital home that I shared with my husband. I mean, originally it was his, you understand. I moved in, when I married him, but, came with nothing, went with nothing. But comes into my home and starts viciously threatening me and screaming in my face with his foul halitosis breath, screaming, threatening. And my husband just stood back and let him attack me like that. Until I had a Queen Anne chair that I brought into the marriage. I brought a lovely chair and the clothes on my back and my toy collection and my books. At 19, that's all I owned in the world. Pathetic, isn't it? Well, not really. Most young girls don't have much when they get married. So anyway, we just use like fucking carrion-fed cattle as breeders to be mocked and derided, even by the medical system when you're having the babies. Oh, we were treated badly. But anyway, I mustn't think about it because I will go insane just thinking about it. The rage bubbles forth again. But anyway, that dirty, filthy, halitosis, stinking motherfucker attacks me in Jasmine's, my newborn baby's nursery. I said, get out of here. This is my baby's room. How dare you follow me from room to room, threatening me in my home. I said, what are you going to do about it, Michael? Michael, my then husband, 6'3" and 4 foot wide, too chicken shit of his brother-in-law to stand up to him, was hiding in our bedroom. No protection to his wife and mother of his children. I lost all respect for him that day. All respect I lost for him. I thought, you're nothing but a low-life scum dog, and I'm stuck with you now because I've got 2 babies to you, but I hate you. It's when it started. The hatred really started. Marriage was well and truly over, really, in real terms, with Jasmine's birth. It's actually over before that, but that was the final death now. Anyway, and here I was, still trying to keep it all together. I kept it all together for the sake of my children till they were 9 and 7. And now, when I look back on it, why? 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 Why would you bother? It's not like I was getting good sex or any genuine tenderness or care or sweetness. Anyway, never mind. But my brother-in-law only backed off when he saw my eyes slide over to the Queen Anne chair and he realised he'd crossed the line and I was about to get that chair and wrap that motherfucking thing right over his fucking head. And you know what? Again, to this very day, I wished I'd had. I wished I'd had done that. Of course I'd be, would have had my children taken off me and I probably would have been in jail and they would have just said, oh, Tanya's crazy, and not admitted to the fact of the abuse and the harassment and the ugliness. So I had to let it go. One of the many things I had to just let go. But it's, now that I'm old, don't ever ask me to let things go. You see a certain glint in my eye, you know you've crossed the line. Back the fuck off, because I'm no longer playing sweet little baby mama, wife, mother, goody-goody two-shoes role. I'm done pleasing other people's ideas of femininity and who they think I should be. Anyway, yes. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yes, the prick thing that he did, my ex-husband, was when I had Crystal. saying what he said to me, the midwife sent him home. I'm writhing in agony, thinking I'm going to die giving birth to our child. He gets sent home because he's overwhelmed and tired. We have to look after him, Mrs. Aarons. What? Anyway, he goes off home. He goes to see his mate, Peter Ramatinas, who was the biggest sleazebag. I swear to God, he was a pedophile as well. I mean, that's probably a bridge too far, but I knew Peter Ramatinas when I was a very, very tiny child, 3 years old, and I knew his family. And that boy stripped me, he was about 7, 8. That boy stripped me down, all my clothes off, only left my socks on. He was a creep when he was 7, and he was a creep when I met him again through my husband when he was in his 30s or late 20s. I mean, my husband was 29 when we got married. He was a fucking creep, and I hated that guy's guts, right? He'd come to our home and he'd undress me with his eyes. I'm married to his best friend. Don't know if they were best friends, but anyway. And I'd say to Michael, can you not bring Peter here anymore? Oh, why? He's my friend. I went, he's fucking sleazy. He makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, what do you mean? I said, he's undressing me with his eyes. Oh, well, you know, you're a woman, aren't you? You're good looking. What do you expect? I went, just don't bring him to my home. Oh, but he's my friend. I went, well, fucking meet him somewhere else then. I don't want him at my home. So he'd keep bringing him. So he'd turn up, I'd walk out the door, go somewhere else. Driven out of my own home by his fucking filthy, creepy friends. So you see, there's little things like that come up from time to time. Remind me about why I hate humans. That's right. They sent him home. Got to finish that story, I'm drifting. They sent him home. He goes off with Peter Ramatinas. This is at like 3 o'clock in the morning, mind you. I mean, when I think back on it, that was totally weird. Who's sitting around at 3 o'clock in the morning waiting for their mate who's supposed to be in the maternity ward with his wife having a baby? Like, were they on together? I mean, you just don't know, do you? Anyway, they were at McDonald's or some shit, he says. I'm giving birth to our child. So it gets to the part where, you know, you're pushing the child out. And so the midwives call him back in. He does come back for the birth. She was born at 6:35 in the morning. So he got back in time. He arrives back at the hospital. He says to me, oh, I'm so tired. I had breakfast with Peter Ramatinas, and then I finally get home, and I finally get to sleep, and then they called me. What do you expect? Like, babies come when they're ready, not when you're bloody ready. Oh, I'm just so tired. I didn't think it would take this long. I didn't think it was going to be so difficult. It was all about him and his needs. I just looked at him, I thought, my God, what have I done? What had I done? Well, anyway, so the upshot of that is 39 years later, almost 40, because my daughter's 40 in November, both my children have been estranged, like the older one now for almost 2 years. So this is what happens when you breed with psychopaths, you know. And then don't forget the narcissism of my mother and her psychopathy. It's a double jeopardy, isn't it? What do you fucking expect? That they're going to grow up and be kind and loving and nourishing and sweet to, you know, their mother who struggled to survive and keep us all alive together and hold her family. Did I actually expect anything good was going to ever come out of that? Yes. How delusional and sweet was I? We're just going to go. How long have I got with this story? Jesus, it's quite a long chapter, this one. I'm just going to go and grab my groceries. And I might even stop there because I'm triggered and I'm not well. Yeah, actually I'll stop there when he admits that it was a real prick of a thing to do, to go partying for 2 days when his wife just had a baby. But, you know, lots of men do that. It's the culture, isn't it? She'll handle it. She's just a hole with a goal. She'll cop it, sweet. I don't think so. Anyway, on that note, let's stop there because the stories are true but triggering, and I need a rest. Bye for now, people of Earth. Have a beautiful day. Some of you watching these videos have discovered that a Mamati can survive almost anything. Oh, they've only just arrived now. Well, that's odd. I'm sure they sent me a message before. The Mamati can survive almost anything, and life is beautiful now. Look around me. I fought hard for my freedom, for my beautiful garden, and hopefully I get better from the soreness and I get to live out many years in the sunshine in my garden. And maybe one day I might even meet a man who's kind and honouring and respectful and who genuinely loves me. Could happen one day. Stranger things have been known to happen. So on that note, Goddess bless. Bye for now, people of Earth.